Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. Appreciate each and every one of you for being here, sharing your most precious asset with me, and that is your time. Bitcoin stuck at 91.8. I could have told you that. I worked out this morning and touched grass. There was no movement. 91.9 though, you know the second I start the stream, Bitcoin starts to pump. You know that, right? Every single time, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Either you're a crypto lifer or you want to be. There's only two people in the world. Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. 92,000. Does Bitcoin pump when I go live? Or do when I go live, does Bitcoin pump? Which came first, the chicken or the egg over here? Hey, shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. Appreciate each and every one of you. I know. I'm too funny. I know. I got to stop with the jokes. Guys are going to be able to trade. You're going to laugh so hard, you're going to be pressing the wrong buttons. You're going to be short when you're long because you're just like falling all over the keyboard. Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for being here. Bitcoin, Fed Day, big day, 2 streams, big time for Sammy. Sammy 2 times over here. Sammy 2 times. I might come back with the Fed meeting. I think I'm going to come back with the navy blue, the white shirt, the red tie with the pin. I'm going to go full blown, you know what I mean, Congress style on the next stream. But shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for being here. You're going to get 2 outfits 2 times a day. You guys don't care. You want the charts. So let's take a look at Bookmap. If you don't pay for Bookmap, here it is. It says there's liquidity all the way above us at 94.2 and about 93,000. There is a link to Bookmap if you want to jump on in. I'd greatly appreciate that. I do receive a commission. You see, there's a bunch of liquidity up here at 93,000 and up there too at 94,000. We keep hitting 94. We've hit it 4 or 5 times now. And every single time we hit it, we lose it and come right back down to some type of support. However, we keep finding some nice support above 90K. And Bitcoin at 92K is awesome. I'll take it one step, one day at a time, right? Nice little pump from 91.8, and it sat there for hours, really. Shout out to everybody out here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. Appreciate you for making this show what it is. My name's Sam Price of the Crypto Life. We've been trading for about 20 years. Since I was 22, started dabbling in stocks. And now here I am at 42 years old. And it got me out of the rat race. I quit my job and started doing what I love to do with my life here on YouTube. You guys supported me. The community became the Crypto Lifers. And next thing you know, I flew to the moon, baby. And now we're going past the moon all the way to Mars. I don't know where we're going. Where are we now? Wait. I thought we were in Dubai. We are, right? Aren't we in Dubai? Yeah. I'm in Dubai, man. I'm in Dubai. Let's jump on into the charts and show you what's happening and break it down for you right away so you can feel the feeling. Last night, Bitcoin, 1 minute time frame, got above the 200 moving average, made a bit of a flag here. You could consider this a flag, see? Right there, that was a flag. Now it broke out, broke back down, broke up again, and then continued to pump. It did go all the way to the target. My target there was 92,995, 93,000. Just the measured move for the scalp. So if you scalped with me last night, you made some gains. Congratulations. They did dump it back down, and we're kind of sitting here now, but no worries. That's the 1 minute time frame. 1 minute did lose the 200 moving average. And now look, we're about to see possibly the model right now. Look at this. We could be making a flag that will pull the 21 above the 200. We may just be dumping. You know what I mean? I don't know what's going to happen. I don't tell you what's going to happen. I trade what happens. Does that make sense? This might make a right shoulder and dump in our face. We don't know what's going to happen. But if it can pump up here, get nice and tight and right, I mean, there's a chance we do exactly like we did yesterday. Remember yesterday we did the exact same thing? We made this trade live on weeks in front of you, and we showed you how to make gains, right? And we could do the same again, okay? So let's move on into the smaller time frame. I'd like to see us on that 1 minuto for a split second here. Not amazing right now. It's going to watch price action, but this is something we're going to jump on into when we finish the top-down analysis. You know, I'll be coming back to this idea, and we might only have a few minutes. So I have it up on a screen above me. I got 6 screens. I got Bookmap on the right. I got Discord in the front. I got monitoring the live stream here with the app. On the far left, I just have Jim Rohn in case we need a quick reflection, renewal, or thought, okay? And then, bang, we're ready to rock. So shout out to all the people that are dedicated to this channel. Thank you for being amazing and awesome. Once the coffee kicks in, it's going to speed up. I fell asleep last night at like 2 a.m. for some reason. I was just up too late. I'm just like a mad scientist. I should go to bed some nights, but I just don't. And I have a good night's sleep. I never really have trouble sleeping. I just like to stay awake, if that makes any sense. If you're like me, I'm like a night owl. I love when the night is quiet and there's no one around. It's like something about it for me. That you know. So this could make a right shoulder and dump on us, but it could be making a massive W pump right now. Very interesting, right? It's enticing to say the least on a day with heavy volatility. We know there's going to be a lot of people kind of going where they shouldn't be right now. A lot of people trade stupid today. I have to say, I don't like to be rude, but a lot of people trade stupid today. I'm going to be honest. It's a good day for smart traders to take advantage of moves. It's also a good day to stay away from the market. When there's a lot of bad trades out there, there's a lot of ways to get hit with good trades. If that makes any sense. You know what I mean? Once they clear all the bad traders out, the market goes the way it's supposed to go, and we can kind of ride. That's what momentum really is. It's like, well, it's time now. You know, everyone decides there has to be a move, but they try to get as much liquidity as they can before. But at one point, they have to decide it's time to move on. It can't sit forever, right? What I mean by that is, you know, they manipulate, but at one point, they're gonna have to move the market, you know? So that's the idea is I hang out. I wait. I take little shots. They can hit me off a few times. And look, there's the shoulder, head right shoulder. You don't trade it now. Had it went up and went tight, 3 minutes, see, my strategy would change in a few minutes. Had this went up and got tight in 3 minutes, that would have been a buy because the 21 would have crossed the 200, would have looked better. It still could bounce and you might make an inverted and you never know what's going to happen here. You know what I mean? This could end up becoming a bigger channel. We don't know. I'm open-minded to all things. Right now, you have to assume this is going to dump because it's a head and shoulder pattern and they break down 68% of the time. So you'd have to assume there's a 68% chance you go to 91,738. That's all. And you have to be like I don't want to say lifeless, but you got to be like effortless, emotionless, just kind of like a bot. Just like, okay, head and shoulder to the downside. You can't be like super inquisitive or 100%. I mean, I look at things 5 different ways, but once you see the way, it is what it is, right? Now, does that mean it's definitely going to do that? No, there's no guarantees. So what I've learned, right, because I used to do all this stuff. I would short and long and get chopped up. And so what I've learned is just be like, okay, flag me out, baby. Get above that 200 moving average, and I'll take you. I'll take you to, you know, Santa Monica Pier. You know what I mean? All the way, baby, all the way. What do you mean Santa Monica Pier? Well, my sister used to live there, okay? So I used to go down to 3rd Street Promenade. Hey, I lived there for a summer, okay? I love the place. Yeah, I had the mini donuts, huh? You know about the mini donuts over there in Westminster? Hey, come on, huh? I even know the street over here. He knows the street. Bada bum, bada bang. Venice Beach, California. What a beautiful place. My sister lived there for about, I say, 9 years. Horizon Boulevard. So look, this is a little bit of a mixer for me. I like this style. Again, I don't love to trade on Fed day, but it's not Fed day just yet. We're still playing in the morning sunshine, so to speak. And right now, there is Bitcoin doing something. So I have 2 trades open already. Let's take a look here. Scalps from last night, I guess that did not get taken in. Look, that's a W now. That's a clean W. So that tells me I could long this right now, right? With a stop below the 200, even right below the wick of the 200. Now, it's very high risk. Today, I shouldn't even trade. I should just walk away from the trades, leave it alone. As I told you, there's a lot of silly people out here. I'm being silly, even trading, right, in a way. So I'm one of those silly people. But what I am is I'm not risking $7,000, $5,000, nothing even close to that. I'm risking 0.000001 of my entire net worth. A very, very nice, tiny risk that feels good. Like if I lose, it feels good. That's how good the risk is. Your risk should be so good it feels good to lose. That should, that should be my new saying. The risk should be so dang sweet it feels good to lose, baby. So like if we hit all these trades, I'll probably make about $1,000 or more. If we go to 97.8, right, 92.8, if we just make $700 move, I should be able to cash it nicely here for Bitcoin. So I'm going to take the shot here. But I may lose in front of you all. And that's the sad part about all this. You might see me lose $500. It could happen. Right? I'm going to jump in and take the model right now in front of you live. And again, I could easily, it looks like it might head and shoulder me right down in 2 seconds. I could easily get stopped out in 1 second here. I just want you to understand how risky my trades are. These entries are not, if that happens, I'll probably just not trade until after FOMC or during FOMC when I'm live, I'll trade again. We got to bounce off the 200 now. If we lose the 200, that's bearish. That has to wick and bounce. You got to bounce right here, right now. See how the yellow line, like we've got to bounce here. They've got to bounce to save me. See, no. That's no good. That has to wick up sooner or I'm cooked. I'm likely already cooked at this point, see? It needed to do something different. Okay, you went back. Okay, you're talking to me, baby. Blow on it. Blow it back above the 200. Stay up there. Bring it over here. Can I blow on that candle? Blow, there we go. One more. Come on. Oh, it didn't work. Come on. Blowing on the candles. The old, oh, there it goes. I'm telling you, it works, man. I know it does. You don't believe me. So here's a battle. And again, I may lose the trade. It happens. I'm very high risk today, actually. Kind of, maybe it was the coffee. Who knows? Funny. Sammy risked $130. He's high risk, friends. He's going to cry himself to sleep on his pillow tonight if he loses. Oh, no, that's a bad double top. Look at it. Clear double top right there. Had we bounced back up? Yeah, I'm cooked now. I mean, that looks like shoulder, head, right shoulder all the way. If I don't get stopped out here, I'd be very surprised. Looks like I got myself cooked at the beginning of the show on Fed Day. Oh my gosh. What a disgrace. What a disgrace for me. I should do so much better. I should win every trade I put out, I open. You know, I assume I'm going to win every single trade I open. It's funny, I get like a little ticked by every loss. I let it slide, don't get me wrong. Like, it's okay. But there's always that like, no, you pay me. You pay me, boy. Get back above that 200. Let's get that short squeeze. Whoop. Wow, the battle right now. It is a double top. Look at it. Shoulder, head, right shoulder in a way. Bearish. That 1 minute candle closed so bearish below the 200. It fought up there hard, though. It did tweezer bottom. It put in the tweezer bottom with all its might, but no. They're coming for me now. They're coming for me now. And it's likely they're going to take me out. Don't do this at home. Don't trade Fed Day. I learn these lessons the hard way every single time. But at least I don't lose them I don't learn them like by $500, you know? No. Stay away from me. The kill shot. Bang, I still have another trade open, but it's down 54. It's a very small trade. It's on a bigger time frame. But look, there's a head and shoulder there. They got me. I went for it. We did get the cross. I had my model. We were above the 200. It wasn't solid, though. Should have waited for a little more consolidation, in my humble opinion. I was, and then we definitely double top right there. You can clear as day, cat ears, whatever you want to call it. Wouldn't be surprised if they bounce this thing right back up to the upside, though. It's one of them days. Let's do my top-down analysis and see what happens for Bitcoin. But dang, I went at my model right there in front of the world and lost. That's what happens. It's okay. Learning to lose is the key to winning, and that's how I always figured, a win is a loss and a loss is a win. Once I figured that out, I was able to kind of maneuver myself into a new way of trading. You can't be negative about anything in trading. It has to be a constant flow. Otherwise, everything's going to get in the way of everything. You know what I mean? I think you get what I'm saying. So let's take a look at the monthly chart. As long as the monthly candle, I wish I had won. It makes me look better to the new people, though. I'll be honest. I don't like losing, but it is what it is. There's nothing I can do. It's life. It's facts. Yeah, we won yesterday. We lost today. Hey, we won more yesterday than we won. Remember, you saw me lose 5. You saw me just lose 130. You saw me take $5,000 yesterday. This is the difference between me and most. Okay, my wins are bigger than my losses. So let's take a look here. As long as we can keep this candle to close a green month, I'll take it. It doesn't mean we're not gonna, So here's the scenarios. You close right and you can just completely dump. It's rare. Usually you at least to make a right shoulder, right? So like the whole world is kind of waiting for the right shoulder, in my humble opinion. I'm not the only one saying this. I've been saying this since we were here, though. I was one of the earlier people to put this out. Now everyone jumps. I project more as much, I'm live more than most people, and I project all the time. So of course you're going to see what you see everywhere else here probably first, and then it's going to bleed through the market. Like you'll see me draw this head and shoulder, and then you'll see like a few weeks to a month later, everyone will be drawing the head and shoulder pattern. You know what I mean? But you'll definitely get it here first. I'm telling you right now. I'm not trying to brag. I'm just being honest. It's just the facts of how we're just constantly putting out information. So it's going to be more obvious that we hit because we do 9 live streams a week. So 9 live streams a week. Remember that. Not 7. 9 live streams a week because we do 2 extra live streams on the weekend. So this is hidden bullish divergence here on the monthly chart. Okay? That's oversold in the stochastics RSI. It's telling me that this could be a beautiful bounce. And then we pull the Fibonacci, and I've seen this on the weekly. I've never seen it on the monthly. I'd have to put the monthly on and go through a lot of different charts. Gold, silver, things that have 20, 30, 40 years. And I expect not much movement for Bitcoin. Back at 91.9 too, I took a shot. That was bot-like for me. I was just doing what a bot does. I was like, oh, there it is, boo, boo, boo. Risk was low. I think I could have kept the risk even lower though. I had to, it's Fed day, man. Nothing goes, Fed's no day, worst day to trade. Look, take it from me. Don't do what I do. Don't lose 140, 180 bucks for no reason. Just let it chill. Just come back when Fed day ends and see where we're at. They're going to liquidate a bunch of people today. You know that. If they don't, it will be rare. Fed day always annihilates and massacres. There's always, even if we pump up hard or dump down hard, something happens every time. So if we didn't get a volatile move today during Fed and all them up and down, then I'd be surprised. It has been nothing burger status before. I think, here's the deal. We'll get into it all in a second. Let me finish my Bitcoin. But we have so much to talk about. We're not even close. I love today's live stream. Pre-Fed day live streams, probably one of the funnest and most interesting, in my humble opinion. And that's what I love about them. So there's always going to be something different, something brewing, something that people are just kind of, questioned about. And it's going to bring a lot of attention to the forefront. And, that brings volume and volatility. So, and me and you are traders. We're here every day. It's like fishermen, man. Wouldn't you like a day when all the other fishermen are out? There's fish everywhere. It's a little different. Or do you want it to all be quiet all the time? Yes, it's going to be crazy today. A lot of beginners out there. It's kind of it's annoying for the OG fishermen. There's going to be a lot of people just kind of speculating that normally aren't here. They're going to get wiped out today. It's funny. There's going to be a lot of people that never traded Fed day today, and they're probably never going to do it again. Or they're going to revenge trade it, right? So, and don't forget, and then we also do a weekly screen share every single Thursday night, which is another, and the monthly close is hell, yeah, which doesn't always fall on the weekly close like the last month, which is an added live stream. Yeah, you're right. Thank you. Yeah, it's 9 times 4, 36, 37. It could be 38 to 40 live streams. About 40 live streams a month in total. Wow. And a lot of them are 2 hours. So we're talking 80 to 90 hours I'm working just live streaming. Never mind all the other work I'm doing. And again, that's only in a month. I get it, but hey, man, we grind out here. It's like I'm 100 people. So the weekly has a hidden bullish divergence. I like what I'm seeing here. You would like to learn hidden bullish divergence. You will benefit from this. You're going to do great with it. I love hidden bullish divergence. You will find it will change your life. So what you want to do is you want to combine this stochastics RSI with the MACD, with the RSI, okay? And you want to see that you have an uptrend in price, well, a downtrend on the RSI. You want the RSI to be coming further down towards the dotted line. Below the dotted line, even better, you want to curve stochastics. You want to draw a Fibonacci by holding Alt, and then hitting F. Alt, hit F. Press down, that's going to give the fib is going to come out. That's your keyboard shortcuts. Look at the bounce off the 786 Fibonacci on the weekly. Okay? We teach this all the time. We teach this in the Fibonacci class. We talk about this. There's a free Fibonacci course. It's 45 minutes long inside of my content directory. I'm telling you right now, jump on in for less than $3 a day. It's going to change your life. Send it lifer. God bless. Brother, Jesus loves you. God bless you too, man. Shout out to No Dramas, mate. Thank you so much. We love you. We appreciate you. And we thank you so much for being here. Enter and wondering when FOMC is. Now or in the future. Use FedWatch. Countdown timer. It's just going to be at 2:30. He comes on at 2:30. I start live streaming at 2:15 because you sit there for an hour. I see other people are starting their live streams at 1:30. I get it. They're going to capture some market share there, but I'm going to be done at 12:30 and then just sit there from 1:30 all the way and then watch and then go through the whole. I like to start at 2:15. We get ready, we clear the air, and then bang. Next thing you know, he's on at 2:30. Usually goes till 3:30, and then we're over and out. So you get an extra stream today. I told you it's going to be exciting, and so we'll live stream for about maybe 3 to possibly 3.5 to 4 hours today. So blessings on this beautiful Wednesday. And thank you, dear Lord, for the ability to have the internet, for the ability for Google to set this whole thing up, for the algorithm to bring us all together. What a blessing. You can look at it as a negative thing. You can look at it for a positive thing. So I see all the positivity in the world, and I see positivity in the internet. It brings us together. It's allowing people to share their knowledge that I would never be able to share knowledge with you guys. Like hidden bullish divergence at the 786 with low stochastics. This is significant. We end up, there's basically now an 80% chance that we end up back up here somewhere to the 110 to 113. I'm telling you right now, based off what I'm seeing. Now I see bearishness too as well. And that's why like it's a hit or miss time. You have to really know your TA to navigate the waters here. People that really know their TA are going to be able to switch bullish or bearish at split-second confirmations that the masses aren't going to be able to see. But from years of being able to pivot and understand, so like I know I have an ability to catch a long or a short that most people won't. And I know most people are going to get wrecked when we see something that they can't see. You have to assume right now, because you were on an uptrend. You're now in a downtrend. You have to assume the trend will continue to the downside. So the first thing is to understand trend analysis. If you're a known trader, you've been trading for a long time, you said, but Sam, you just said there's a 90% chance of a move back to the upside. We're retracing, huh? What do you mean? You have to learn how to separate your bias. What is a bias? A bias is your inside, a bias is your inside opinion on an idea that overrides your logic. Sometimes, not all the time. Sometimes logic and bias can be combined, but it can override logic. So, sometimes you're so stuck on one thing that you don't even make a decision that might even benefit you yourself, right? For me, bias can be negative in a way because it can blind you, right? So we all have a bias. You have to know that because your brain learns so much and it can only learn as much as it can from some place. At one point, that information was a wall because it stops where you got that information. Meaning, if you grew up in an all-Irish community and they told you all these different things about religion, the information would kind of stop at where the community believed these beliefs were. And that's where your information would go. Now, if you went to a new culture, traveled the world, you would be outside of that wall and you learn more, right? And but my whole point is this. So you're stuck in a bias no matter who you are. And the key is to find the biases, travel, learn, and break them. And renew ourselves constantly. Like, every single day you break that bias or you change who you thought you used to be and you recreate yourself and you recreate yourself and you recreate yourself. Eventually, you become kind of like a quilt that's like if you close your eyes, you're like a shimmering quilt as a soul. You're no longer this defined, I used to feel like I was a defined thing, right? Like, because I had to be what I was. But once I recreated myself so many times, I learned I was never truly defined. I was actually learning all the time. I was like a boat in the water, ready to hit each wave in a different way as the wave came. I wasn't just a concrete dock waiting for the waves to come to me anymore. It's like you're not a tree. You can move, right? Like Jim Rohn told me that I could change the way I think. Anyway, that was a moment for me that it just kind of blew my mind. But anyway, sorry if I took you somewhere. So the weekly. So my whole point is this. The first thing that a professional trader does is understand the trend, okay? Understand the trend. And so you got to see what is the trend. And you got to be, it takes time to understand trend because you have to play with trend, know what trend is. So first, someone has to teach it to you. Then you have to try it out on smaller time frames, see if you're able to figure it out. Then you have to use it one day and watch it actually work. See, the key about technical analysis isn't that people don't know it. A lot of people know it, but they don't use it to work. A lot of people know how to ride a bike, but the bike sits in the garage. They never ride it. A lot of people really know how to use know technical analysis, but they never really use it. They open trades. Dude, I opened trades for years, but I never was really I thought I was using TA. You know what I mean? I was looking at the charts and just doing what I wanted when I felt the TA fit my emotions. I was going to do whatever I wanted anyway. The TA just, now it's what I want. Now I only do what the technical analysis tells me to do. Like it told me to take that long. I took it in front of everyone. I was supposed to lose. You know what I'm saying? It's okay. Right? It's fine. And look, I got stopped out there. Like, you want to get stopped out down there? And they might rip it back to the upside. So be it. This actually might be a giant inverted head and shoulder. Look. And the thing is, if I take the model again later on, to me, that's not revenge trading. To me, on Fed Day, it might be kind of revenge trading. Because, this could end up being some type of inverted head and shoulder. We don't know. We're going to get into all the smaller time frames, later on throughout the show. So the first thing you have to understand is trend. So once you understand that, so let's look at the trend. Like we had a higher low, a higher high, a higher low, a higher high, a higher low, a higher high. Got a little sketchy there with like a double top when we came down, but we made bull div. Let me show you. If you pull from this wick all the way up, actually I had to take this impulse here, which made more sense because that's where we began. And the other impulse was okay, but it wasn't, it kind of came down a little short. But if you pull the impulse right there, you can see we did come to the 618 Fibonacci retracement from this wick all the way to that wick. And then when I pull from this area, right, I got this uptrend. Alt-T is going to give you the trend line, right? And this is a downtrend. The stochastics were also very low. This is hidden bullish divergence. I called it out. I bought $84,000 Bitcoin right here, right? And then I bought even into the 78s, right? Because it was an area of, and the fear and greed was also telling us, and I love this one. I go to alternative.me. I don't use the one on CoinMarketCap just because I've been using this one for like 7-8 years now. Since like 2017, whenever they first started this thing, maybe even earlier. This is at 26. When this got to a 10, I had to buy more Bitcoin in bulk. And then, I've been DCAing ever since. And I always DCA into BTC, right? Sailor keeps buying more Bitcoin. He just bought more just yesterday. So shout out to the 1,545 beautiful souls here on the live. Thank you for jumping on Fed Day. All right. So the first thing, again, I just wanted to show you how we identified hidden bullish there. We even had it here. Similar idea as it pulled down. Like this was a swing down. You see? But this swung up. So, and I use the RSI. Everyone might use whatever they want. And look how low the stochastics were. So I want low stochastics RSI. And then I want to pull a Fibonacci from that, the furthest back impulse. And look at that, wicked right past into the 618 Fibonacci golden pocket. Again, when you add your Fibonacci, just stock, it's not going to have the 0.65. You're going to have to click on this. It might actually be there and just click on it. But if it's not, just type it in. I like to turn it white, and I like to turn the 618 white. So that's what is the golden pocket. The 0.618 and the 0.65. There's a platinum pocket, stuff like that. And the 0.706, this is a secret fib that institutions use. That was taught to me by an institutional trader who worked for some institutions for years and lent me some sauce that, that was years ago on the low. And then the 786 is going to be kind of like your last resort. And then in massive bear markets, you will go to the 886. And that should be basically your bottom. Okay. That means an 88% retracement from the top, 78%, 65, 61.8, right? The Fibonacci. The great Fibonacci. So Fibonacci, right? Fibonacci. So here's the deal. Now that we've identified possible hidden bullish divergence, is it, I've never seen it on it's there. It's a little rocky. We could, and the other thing about hidden bullish is we could go a little lower. We just have to stay above this line. So like we could even dump to like right there. We could dump back to 80, 82K. As long as we don't go lower than that and there's still a slight uptrend, it will remain. However, these curving a little bit is telling us a story. You can even double click on the RSI, the stochastics, and you can see, that's a bullish sign. It's a bullish cross too as well. Doesn't mean we're going to pump for sure, but it's definitely how big moves happen. You want to see the blue line crossing above the red line on the stochastics RSI. Very important. All right. So now we look at this and we're like, okay, 1 week chart. Shout out to all the beautiful people here that I meet around the world. And I know you're watching the show. Shout out to the people driving trucks. Shout out to the people working, have me in the earphones. I know there's landscapers out there. There's EMS out there. There's people that tell me they listen to my show at work all the time. God bless you all. Thank you so much. We love you. We care about you. Shout out to everyone in the service industry. Shout out to everyone that risked their lives for us. Shout out to all the veterans, all the police officers, firemen, all the nurses, doctors, paramedics, EMTs, people that go out there every day, see blood and help others. A paycheck's a paycheck, but man, you get a paycheck and also help people. Shout out to the special needs people that help special needs kids every day. Like my mom, she was a reading recovery teacher. Shout out to all the blessed people that help people every single day. You people are awesome. If you're out there, thank you so much. I just wanted to say that. It came to me. And thank you. So the weekly, it's closing a green candle, but so now we talk about trend, right? So then there's a higher high, higher low. Technically a higher high, higher low, higher high. But you have to say that's a lower low. You broke the trend right here. You see? And the last time Bitcoin did that on a massive scale, it began the beginning of a bull market. If you flip it upside down, like once you break this, you usually come back down somewhere to here, 104, 103, you'll come retest, and that will be the last chance you have. And look, what if Bitcoin, and you can kind of see, and Bitcoin loves to top out. Every time it's topped out with a head and shoulder. I'm going to show you. And every time it's bottomed out with a head and shoulder. And I'm going to show you, look at the last rally for BTC. If you go to the daily time frame, right? Okay. And so and you just look at the daily. So I believe we're in for a relief rally. I just don't know if it's going to be the one to give us an all-time high here, right? And make a super cycle as people assume. And here everyone was telling you we're going higher, but you can see here we have a low. So look, this is how I taught myself trend analysis, and this is what I do in the class. And in class, you're going to get if you come to my class the last Saturday of every month, and we're going to revamp this class. It's going to be different next year, so this will probably be one of the last chances you have to take it. But if you take this class, it'll blow your mind. I'm telling you right now. It'll be like a couple days after Christmas, the last Saturday of the month. Let me take a look. That's going to be the 27th, right? So I don't know how many people might want to be there for class. It'll be the last present of the year. But so look, so Bitcoin finally ended so it had a higher high, a higher low, a higher high, a higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, a lower low. It broke the trend and it made an inverted head and shoulder. So this is kind of where Bitcoin is right now. Right there. You see? It looks very similar to this. It just made this higher high and it's coming back down, upside down, right? You see? If we look at Bitcoin upside down right now, it looks just like this. Again, when you break this is when the trend changed. And you made the higher low and then you were, you know what I'm saying? And that was the end. This is how I was able to find the bottom. So when we went to find the bottom for Bitcoin, it was the same story. We had a lower low, a lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, right? This was your, lower high, lower low. This was the high that had to get broken. You had to come up here and make, and make a higher high. When we finally came up here and made a higher high, we came down, made another, then we made a higher low from here. And that was it. Remember, I bought $19,000 Bitcoin. What was that? And that's 19.8, right? Also, look, I used the 200 moving average. What did we come above? The 200. What did we bounce off? The 200 moving average. If you were watching my stream back then, I told you the 5-day was your last chance to buy BTC before a massive rally. Right here. I said, once this 5-day candle closed above 34,000, this might be your last chance. You put a stop right there. I said, you could probably ride this all the way to the top of the bull run. And look what happened. It's exactly how it played out. It's insane. You see? Anyway, let me get back to where we were here. So the daily now, right? So then you can see on the daily, and this will blow your mind. So we bottom at these, and look, the daily shoulder, head, right shoulder, right? Just flip it upside down. It's the same as we would top out. You would have your low, you'd have your high, but you'd make a lower low. You'd come in for a higher low, and that would be it. So to me, we should be, if we're trend analysis and we're by the trend, we should be waiting for a higher low, a lower high for Bitcoin, Now, the only crazy thing about Bitcoin, technically on the daily, it has a higher high, higher low, higher high. It technically has a higher high on the daily. See this? It's technically still holding an uptrend. So this is what's got people, this is interesting, right? Now, when we went back here, it had broken the trend here on the daily. There's a lower low, that's your lower high. Lower low, that's your lower high there too. So this is a little different, but on the weekly, right? On the weekly, technically too, it's still, if you kind of went, there you could say that was the low and it broke it. But in the macro scale, that's a low right there that we're technically above right now. So that's where there's some squeakiness for a possible, but for me, I'm just, even if we do get the pump, I'm going to be just looking for, to take profits at 110, re-enter if I see bullishness, and ride to a new all-time high. I'm not trying to be a hero and call the absolute move all the way back up. This will be the bottom, and I'll definitely get in there, spot, and I'll make some great left trades that if we get back up to you can see 108. You can see the liquidity wants 108. When you zoom out and you really look at it and you don't listen to Twitter or anyone else, and you stay one with the charts, you can see that 108 is calling your name. It's just screaming, right? 108 right there. You can just see it. There's a lot, like look at, or somewhere between 104 and 108, there's just a lot of, and you're going to get some resistance right here where these two candles hit on the 100,800. But yeah, I mean, and then curving on the RSI. So this looks interesting for sure. And, and again, we got to take this one candle at a time on the weekly. So here's the deal. As a trend guy, I can see how for me, because this was a high, low, high, low, high, and then you broke down, this is now, that's a low. This is a lower low on the weekly from here, right? So for me, I'm assuming that we're going to make a bear flag. I kind of have to. So that's my idea, is we're going to make a bear flag. Now, if we get above certain areas, if I see consolidation, they'll change my tune completely. You see what I mean? Look, Bitcoin looks like it's back above the 1 minute 200 moving average, because I know 92 is somewhere there. I know the numbers. There it is again. So now they're going to tickle my fancy here one more time. It did make the inverted head and shoulder. See? Shoulder, head, right shoulder. Isn't that crazy? Look, cup and handle. So now I don't jump in now, but they might pump it pretty nice. And see, that's why I still have these other trades open. You never know what's going to happen today. But what I will do, I'm not going to remember the do. What I do, he said do. What I do sometimes, what I do many times, or the action in which I partake in, right? Different ways to speak. The action in which I partake in most of the time. The general action in which I may usually take is this, and so like I wouldn't touch this until the 21 can creep up above the 200. Otherwise, it could just be another, BS move. So we'll see. All right. So assuming we make a bear flag and continue to dump based on the 21 being away from the 200, that's also when how the bear markets look. So I have to be honest, it looks more bearish than bullish. And even if we get a rip, I'm looking for the right shoulder. Okay. The key is if we get above the daily 200, we keep pushing, I'll ride. And, even though I say this, you'll probably see me sell the all-time high or close to it and you'll be like, how? Because the moving averages are going to keep me in despite what I see on the bigger time frames. But I'm still going to speculate the bigger time frames, and then when we get there, we're going to have a decision to make. The only weakness in my game is I'm not great at holding trades for like 7 months straight. You know what I mean? That's something I personally have to work on. But I'll get there, right? It's like I knew crossing that 5-day, and I could but I do a heavy spot, and I get rewarded graciously without the greed, and I'm not part of but I definitely know there's some good lev gains out there, but I don't know. That whole cross lev, and I'm just not built for it just yet, right? I'm working on it slowly, but it's just not, And know your weaknesses in trades and trading too, so you don't go into places where you shouldn't when you could get destroyed. Like my position's 100,000, 300,000, a couple times $1 million positions for me. And I'm just, that's kind of where I did my, and for a lot of people, that's huge, right? Those are giant. For me, when I was just trading, those are giant positions. For most people, I know, then you got Crypto with 100 mil, right? But you don't compare yourself to others, because if you do, that is how you deflate your confidence, take away your happiness. There's no need of doing that. So we're looking for this possible right shoulder on the weekly, right? It's just something that I'm looking at as well. Shout out to the 1,683 beautiful souls here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. And we're really breaking down Bitcoin for you in all aspects, so you can really get a picture of what's happening here. So I've been saying this to everyone here too, is that you got to assume this is making a bear flag. Now, if it rips all the way up, does that mean you're shorting it? No, you don't short the bear flag until it consolidates. What does that mean? Well, I wait for more confirmation of structure. Structure is a flag, right? So like when I say structure, I'm talking about price comes up, comes down. It doesn't really have structure just yet. Like I'm going to start it, but we don't know. Now, what if it fills out down? Now we have a nice bull flag. What if it fills out sideways? We might have a nice bull pennant. What if it fills up? We might have a rising wedge. I need structure, So here, if it went do, and then the 21 starts to come close, that's when you should be shorting down, right? When the 21 gets close to price and it's making a bear flag, we do this all the time bullishly. We did this for Bitcoin, and we can find these actual scenarios for Bitcoin on the upside. So, you know, if you look at the upside here, similar story here for the 5-day, but you came to the 21. You know, this one was choppy, but you left the flag. What they did is they pumped it, brought it back inside the flag, and then made the perfect flag that I trade. And I'm the king of broken patterns. Remember when a lot of people got bugged out? I said, hey, just trade the pattern just the way they broke it. So they broke it, but they bring it back in, and you're coming in on low stochastics, and you got lack of bearish momentum. So when I see the bearish momentum in the MACD is very small, and this is what I teach my students in the class. See how there's like no hill there? So I don't wait for crosses on the MACD. It's not really that. If you wait for crosses, it's you know, look how the bearish, and what am I talking about? Well, the MACD is made up of a histogram, a blue line and a red line and a histogram in the middle. How I use the MACD is I'm looking for low. Look, there's a big red hill, smaller hill. Look how small that hill is. When that flipped white and you could see how small and that means the bulls had no momentum. I mean, the bears. So whenever I see a big time frame and I see that the MACD is getting, you know, kind of small. So here too, we're getting kind of this idea that the bears are losing momentum slightly. You see this? It's starting to curve. It's not as big as you would want it to be. It's not like a real big red like that one. Now, is that coming? Do we expand? It could, but look how low the stochastics are. Look at the last big dumps on the 5-day chart. Okay, here's a huge dump. Look how low the stochastics got. Just take a look at them, you know. They got below the dotted line. Here was a pretty good dump where we doubled up below the dotted line. You can see every massive dump we got below. Here we had a pretty massive dump. We did get below there, but, you know, we kind of started to recover on divergence. We've been below the dotted line twice down here. I don't know, there's a lot of bearish energy that's already been suppressed, is all I'm saying. But again, in a bear market, this is what will happen, and we'll consolidate. And that's why if you consolidate on that bear flag on the 5 days, so you must have that in the back of your mind. If you're not like, you know, for me as a trader, I think it's better off to assume you've been in a bear market. And for me, a bear market is a month underneath the 200 moving average. We lost the 200 moving average on November 3rd. It's now December 9th, December 10th, right? That's a month below the daily 200 and in a downtrend. That's a bear market, friends. Like I'm not, to me, there's no like, oh, we're not, oh, we're in. Now we could reverse, get above this 200, change the game, and then fine, we're not in a bear market anymore. But for me, anyone that says you're not in a bear market doesn't trade the way I trade. It's okay. That doesn't mean they're wrong or I'm right. It just means they don't trade the way I trade. Like if I'm a chess player, like let's just say I don't castle the 5th move ever. You know what I mean? There might just be certain things that you don't do. Someone else says, oh, I do that all the time. That works for me. But like, I don't do that. So like, I don't assume we're not in the bear market when you're below the 200 moving average on the daily for this long. That doesn't mean I wouldn't long. That doesn't mean I wouldn't take a crate. You know what I mean? So I just want to make that clear. Last thing I want to show you is the 3-day chart. And what we're hanging out here is this 200 moving average. Now, the last time we came to it, we did use it as a hammock of support. That was in September of 2023, September 19th. Wow, right? 2 years and 2 months ago coming on. So it's shown support before. Does that mean it could be the bottom of the market, you know? So let's go over what we talked about today. There's high likelihood of at least an uptrending bear flag or a pump back to 108, 109, in my humble opinion. And the next 2 or 3 days, and you say, let's just say 6 days, because in 6 days, we'll get 2 more 3-day candles. Or let's say in really 9 days from now, which is going to be the 19th of September. It's going to be a Wednesday, which is a good day for me to trade. We're going to see where Bitcoin lies, okay? And if Bitcoin in 9 days from now has 2 green candles headed up, like we know we're kind of coming back to a V-shaped recovery. Agreed? Or at least coming here, and we're going to probably gap through this high volume node there. And you can see 105 will start to come on the horizon. I like this gap of the VRVP, and I like that we held on this node. It was chop here. This chop held us. You can clearly see that was support for Bitcoin. Shorting support hurt a lot of people, right? They wicked down and made them think they were winning, but they went back and grabbed all of them by the end of it all. They made it very hard to short this, to try to get in. So if there's a bigger move, they're trying to clear anyone out from getting in on it. That's another reason why waiting for my moving averages to lose their MAs is really the key, because they've usually gotten most people the wrong way first. By that time, the momentum is starting to drop. Not every time. I've seen them go back and get me, but not every, you know. keep watching this. If this can, we're going to see in the back. See, the key about having a model too is you can draw the model and always rely on it and wait on it. You see what I mean? Like, we don't know what price is going to do, and it doesn't matter. But I know what I'm going to do. What I've learned about trading is it's just, and I always bring this back to this metaphor, and if you can understand this metaphor without being too confused, because I know I get meta, which is meta is outside of this, outside of what you're already talking about, kind of. That's what like meta, So when you're doing something meta, it's like out of this world, right? That's what meta really means, out of the world, But it's really out of your mind, worldly, like thinking differently, in my humble opinion. However you want to take that. Remember Meta World Peace? That's so cool. Ron Artest changed his name, right? It's so funny. So they had to say Meta World Peace on every day on the T. It's just so cool, man, when he did that. Ocho Cinco. These guys are... man. So 92,644 would be the target. That stop. And again, I'm not taking the trade. I talk about this every day now. I'm looking at the property. I may buy the property. I don't know, though. All right, I got to see the parameters. What's the mortgage rate? Like, what's the interest rate? What's happening? What are the neighbors saying? What's the cost segregate analysis? Like, what do we got going on? Nice little double bottom here. Let's be honest, like that could give us a 68% chance of a break to the upside. Measured move does take us right to here. Okay. Interesting. So look, while I'm doing a top-down analysis, I'm also watching to see when I could and could not get in on my action. And again, if this 21 can come up and we can consolidate, I'm going to have to just take the long again, just like a bot, without thinking about it much. You see? Yeah, that's tough, though. Hold on. Let me, formulate a better plan, though. Okay, there you go. So that's got to be 91,823. See how the difference between 788 and 823 changes the entire trade. It's either a 2.4 or a 3-to-1 risk-reward ratio at that point, and that changes the whole trade. Understanding that concept is key. You don't understand the difference between $40 here? That changes my entire ratio. I can't take the trade once this change is like 2.8 and above, man. I'm not going for 2.5s. I'm not going for 2-to-1s. I'm not going for 1-to-1. None of that. Now, if I front run right now, I'm front running yet again. But something tells me to front run here because of, but I gotta just... I'll wait patiently 5 more minutes. I might miss the pump. That's the only thing. I might miss the pump. It's okay. I'm already in. So if I do, so be it. So now we come back here. So look, we check on... See, that's like, say you were doing something... Like right now, I'm doing a live stream, right? So I'm working. Say you were working, right? But you also had the charts going. And everyone says they don't have time for this. They don't have time for that. But look, I was able to jump in on my small time frame, come back to the big time frame and do my work. You see what I'm saying? Because I have a system in place that I can watch, and it either does it or it doesn't. If it does it, we go for it. If it doesn't, we don't go for it. Look, I can also see there's a head and shoulder brewing. I'm an open-minded person that doesn't want to just see what I want. The old me was like, it has to be the fly, And any moment this could switch off on me. I understand that. That's why this is just a speculative idea. Aggressive entry would be there. Look, it turns it into a 5.6-to-1 risk-reward ratio. If you buy right there on that 21. But to me, I've learned it's just... You got to wait for the 21 to cross and consolidate. And so now, look, I'm turned off by it. It will take a few minutes. And that's good now. I don't have to watch it anymore. It's not at least for a little bit. And you can see price action between 918 and 92,000. I mean, you expect it to just kind of dribble until the Fed. I've seen this every single time. There's no reason for, it's sideways speculation until we get the rate cut. We're going to get to the rate cut too. We're going to spend a good... probably 20 minutes on it and break down some things that you might or may not know already. And we'll get into the juiciness of it. I'm going to show you kind of all the things you need to know, okay? Also going to show you what could come up for the rest of the week as well, because it's not just a rate cut. We have some other stuff coming at us this week that you definitely want to understand. Shout out to the 1,739 beautiful souls here on the live. Let's get the likes up to the watchers. I would greatly appreciate that. Thank you so much for the love and every single buddy here who's watching on the live. We appreciate you. We love you and we care about you so much. So awesome to see this many people jumping on the live stream on this beautiful Wednesday, December 10th. So let's kind of move forward now into the daily time frame. So look, you're looking in the next 6 days, you want to see 2 or 3 green candles on the 3-day up here. If they're more sideways, this thing is going to dump on you. And maybe it dumps earlier, but for me, it's likely going to consolidate a little bit first. 90% of the time, you get consolidation. So if Bitcoin was bullish, it could go this way. It might go sideways here. Is it going to dump and make a head and shoulder? I don't know. It looks kind of like it's in a continuation pattern there too, right? A low, a high, a lower low, lower high. I don't know. It could make a higher. You see that? Like, there's a chance, man. Still a chance. I'm open. I'm open-minded. There's just a chance. Moving forward. Let's go to the daily time frame and flip back to the right side, right? So here we are again. Take rid of that. Get rid of it altogether. There we go. So now here we stand. And so then you dissect the small things in life. And so it's, look, I just keep adding probability. Like today, we close a red candle next to a green one. That's not a good sign, period. Like you can dream all you want. You can be like, oh no, it's fine. That means we're bullish. No, it doesn't. Like that's a bearish sign to me. You know, you could say, fine, we're attempting to make some type of like, kind of like an ascending triangle here. Even to me, that's kind of more bearish than bullish. The only kind of somewhat bullish thing is this curve. The fact that you have a higher high, higher low, you're possibly making in an uptrend. But you could see this. Like, I mean, the measured move takes you down all the way back to about 70,000 too. Like, that would be a nice drop. So today we could get a right. What if they just don't cut the rates and things just like, or they do cut the rates. It's a nothing burger. We get a nasty red candle on the daily. It closes bearish engulfing. I mean, that you have to assume that thing's going to start a shoulder, head and shoulder there, right? So I could see it going either way. I assume it's more bearish because we're in a bearish trend. Understand? Makes sense? If the bulls show us something, so that's why I was talking about 90, you know, look, if the daily can close a daily candle, boom, above 93.3 and then bear flag or something, 21 catches it. Wow, like that's the least aggressive trade right there. Because that tells you that you've broken resistance and now you're consolidating above it. But for me, that's like where, like, that would be the hardest, you know. You don't do that. Like, you got to assume. So right now, it's like the bulls have to show up, then they have to set up, and then they got to keep moving. Like, they got a lot of work to do. I'll watch them do it. They're like little ants. We got to watch the bulls build an ant farm, and they got to put together a little ant hill. You know what I mean, though? It's like we got to watch it formulate. We got to see the work get done. We got to see the building get put together right here. So that's a resistance right now. If that daily candle closes red, that's not a good sign. So if tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, that closes red, I'm going to be bearish. Fed day, whatever you want. That's a bearish sign. Now we could turn green and rip to the upside. It's happened, but the odds are low. Like right there, we did that one time. We did actually go green after a red right there. And it looked bearish. It kind of was a similar scenario, but we eventually did roll over. So I'll be watching that daily candle. That doesn't look amazing to me. Getting a little overbought on the 22 and that 12 hour. Showing signs. And again, we just want to see, what I want to see is just, we're going to get tighter. And you can see too, every time Fed day comes, isn't it funny that we end up in a tight position? Like if there was no such thing as Fed day, you would still be like, oh, there's some indecision in the market today. All right. Now let's see our first sign of hopium today. I see some hopium in the flash, in the pan there. I see a flash in the pan of hopium. Every time you stay above 92K, there's a chance for 94. Every time you break through 94, that changes the whole parameter, right? Every time you lose 92K, it's like your back could be going to 89 again, you know? So look, to me, the 4-hour 2 just could make this falling wedge and just fulfill the prophecy of hitting that 21. And then it may just bounce. We might just get kind of some more tightness here for the next, 36 hours. And now we switch to the 1 hour. And see how we kind of slowly and calmly understand the market? Now, by the time you zoomed in, you have such an understanding of the bigger time frames that you're not as emotional as you were before. You just jump into that 1 hour, that, the 15-minute, the 1 minute, and you don't look at where you are in the bigger picture. Like now we all know, okay, we got to see that daily candle tonight. We know we got to watch in 6 days where the 3-day kind of ends up. We already know what's going to happen. If it gives us what we see, then we already can kind of have, if that 3-day candle collapses and it starts to break down, I mean, you can tell where we're going. It's not rocket science. Stuff isn't as hard as people say it is. The emotions are hard. It's the internal emotions that make it hard to interpret the signals properly. So look, the 1 hour is oversold you're looking for, the 1 hour is looking for a short squeeze, just like one of those blah. It might even make a right, a weird, like something like that. I wouldn't be surprised, just, right? And they just annihilate the shorts here on Fed Day. It just looks kind of likely, right? Right now, 92.1. Let's get back in there. So look, now they're doing it. Now the 21 has crossed. Now, I'm sorry. And look, there is the double bottom technically doing exactly what it was supposed to. See? There was a 70% chance, basically, if you round up. And so now, look, I would raise this up here. Now the stop loss comes. Again, it's always near a wick underneath the 200 if possible. So now the stop loss has been raised to 91,894. Now, I've been doing this for a long time. Please don't do this if you don't know what you're doing. Demo trade this for long periods of time. All right, and I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing I say and do. Should be taken as financial advice. This is entertainment and education This is for entertainment and educational purposes only. This is my real life. This is my reality TV show of my life. I share 2 hours of my life every single day, no matter where I am in the world, no matter what I'm doing. Because I'm always trading, I'm always watching, I'm always observing the market. It's a 24/7 market. And I put my life into it. So until I'm ready to call it quits and retire, I'm going to put in the work. And if you want to watch me put in the work, come here every single day and get the education you deserve, because you deserve it. It's your life. Get it from the best place possible. Drink water from the cleanest fountain. I'm here every single day. My knowledge is pure because it's been built on consistency. I don't have to say anything about who I am and what I do. Just ask around. Who's that guy, the Crypto Lifer guy? And they'll tell you who he is. They'll tell you he's the most consistent streamer in the world. No one streams more consistently him in the entire world. We're talking billions of people. Again, for you, for me, for us all, for the community, so we can shine. It makes us all amazing. Look at this. It's a complex inverted head and shoulder. Shoulder, shoulder, head, shoulder, shoulder. These break up. Looks like we're going to get back up to that same zone there. I'd like it to go sideways for the next 10 minutes so I could enter the trade. 92,670. You see, we just added a little bit there. And now, look, you could go 65 right now for 123 for 414. I mean, that's beautiful. Now the 21 has crossed. Now it tells me, hey, you're safe to make the trade. You could wait for more confirmation, but you might miss the pump. On a Fed day, it's sketchy. All right. Again, risking very small amounts. You see, not going overboard. That looks like it's going to rip without me, and I don't think I'm going to chase it. Let me look at my 5 minute. Where's the 200 on the 5? Yeah, see, we're going to pump to the 5 minute 200 and likely get rejected here. I'm going to be smart and just wait for the play. But there she blows. You know what I'm saying? And there is my signal yet again. You're touching the 21 above the 200. I can't explain why. You don't have to ask. And look, inverted head and shoulders are also ascending triangles. This is what I've learned. You see? Then you can get the measured move of the ascending triangle. And it definitely says, and again, you could buy the breakout right there, but that's just not what I do. I like to be ahead of everybody. I like to know what's going to happen beforehand and watch it pump. I'm sorry. I like to be perfect or I don't get in. Like I want the trade to be perfect. But Sam, you lost your trade in front of us. Was that perfect? Don't talk about that. Who are you? Get out of class. I know what you just said. It happens, man. I wish I had waited for that signal. Probably would have won now. Shout out to anyone that able to nail this. The signal technically was right there. We had snapped the 21. I didn't draw the bigger, so still sketchy today. I wouldn't be surprised, but hey, there you go. This should rip all the way back up to 92.5. I am in 2 trades anyway, so like there's still the suspense of these trades being open, right? Down $100 combined, about 110. Wow, what a class today. Shout out to everyone that's jumped on into this live stream. It's felt amazing and empowering to be here with each and every one of you, to know that we could change the world one step at a time and to really give back all the knowledge that I've put in throughout this time in my life. Thank you. I love you. I appreciate you. This has been today is an experience beyond belief. Dropped my daughter off today at school in the Lambo. Funniest thing ever, right? I had to. I shouldn't have. Probably get the cool, but I wanted her to feel that feeling. See, they have these big speed bumps, so I didn't think I could do it. But yesterday I saw a Ferrari parked there, and the guy was super low. And I was like, if he got in there, I can get in there. You know what I mean? And it's funny, man. Imagine getting dropped off in a limo. Anyway, let's get back into reality. So we're looking for the 15-minute to hold the 200 moving average. This is actually a little trick that I've played before too. You long right here with a stop below the 200 on those wicks, and you just go for, a move back to possibly 95.8 or just to the top there at 94.4, right? Now, the top there at 94.5 still gives you 2.8 risk score ratio. So like I'm only right there, it would have worked out, right? Right when you got above there, you just got in, put a stop below the 200, boom. I love the bounces on the 15. That was kind of an epic move there. Didn't kind of, wasn't perfect. So yeah, I would look for the 15-minute. Look, today the 15-minute just bounced off the 200 moving average. See that? It's always the 200 that seems to catch, bounce, or stop price action. Now I'm starting to use it in different ways. Like it's crazy, like telekinesis almost. I feel like Luke Skywalker. I'll get in when we bounce off the 15, and then I'll sell, when we get to like the 4-hour 200 or something. Like if this hits the 4-hour 200, that would be, this one might rip even further. So the 4-hour looks like it's starting to pump. It could. So now you look, you're always looking for signals. A green next to a red, that one went huge. But if you can get one of these, where it's not a lot of huge price action, and you get the candle to close, and it gives you, look, getting in there at 90,000, and you would have ripped that thing all the way to 91.3. That's a great trade. Even right here, this one's even better. What I'm talking about is tweezer bottoms on the 4-hour. A green candle next to a red with 2 wicks. So today, in the next 3 hours, you just closed a bullish pin bar. You see, they tried to make this a bearish candle, but it came up with a massive wick. That's a pin bar. Now, it is a red candle, but it's a bullish looking candle. Why? Because it has a bigger wick to the upside than to the downside. You see, we call this Thor's hammer, sledgehammer. Now, where you're looking for this candle should be coupled with a green candle connection. Preferably not a huge pump to the upside, preferably something like this. I don't know how that's going to happen for 3 hours and 44 minutes. They're going to have to keep price basically flat now. And that's all the way until, that's going to be in 4 hours. This candle closes at 3 o'clock, right? At our time, 3 o'clock, right? Because it's 11. That's crazy to me. So funny when you think about it, right? So look, the 1 hour is starting to reverse nicely to the upside. We're getting a pump. And I kind of see this reversing. And my signal crossed, right? We played it. We got above the 200 down. I should have got in right there and showed you how it's done. I missed out. But these are going to switch green, and so I'm still in trades. I just don't want to over risk. No reason to over risk over here. He's risky business. But yeah, I like what we're doing right now. And look, that was a shoulder head. That's what's called a complex inverted head and shoulder. The best tool to show people that is to use this tool, where you can just kind of extend all these little. But this is a known bullish pattern that is just so obvious when you really look at it, because what it's telling you is we're going to dig on out, and it's showing you where you're going to go. You get your measured move, which is wick to wick here from that neck. I feel like the neckline's pretty high. Yeah, it tells you you're going to 92.5. So then you couple this with Bookmap and you look, is there liquidity above you? And you see this bar right there at 93,000 starting to get red and big. And it says, we're probably going to come up and eat 93K now. Then we had a bar up there at 94.3, and too far away down is 89,350. It's just going to be a lot easier to get to 93. So Bitcoin's going to go to the biggest chunk. That's going to be liquidations of shorts. There's a lot of people that are short right now on Fed day, for whatever reason, they're speculating. They're going to get taken out. Okay. So the double bottom just played out absolutely beautifully for BTC. See it? We'll show you the double bottom too as well. Again, I was a little late to the party. I should have executed on that, but it's Fed day. A little sketchy, so I had some hesitation because of Fed day. It wasn't Fed day, I'd be all in. But I already would have made my loss back probably right by now. But don't worry, I got to keep telling myself, I got 2 trades open that are now back ready to move. So look at that, right? You have the double bottom that has a measured move, 68% chance. You have the complex inverted head and shoulder. You can Google all these things and find out exactly what I'm talking about. And you'll identify these as fast as me. So many people couldn't have seen that in the time it was to take advantage, right? And look, see here, just Google it, complex inverted head and shoulder, see? And it's in real, there it is there. There's the perfect example. They have head and shoulder. They have, I was an inverted, complex inverted or inverted complex head and shoulder. I don't know exactly how you would place that. And so now that Bitcoin's pumping, this is what was supposed to happen. I was late on my execution. Dang. Got to be faster, quicker, better. Harder, faster, quicker, better. But now what I'll do is I'm going to execute this in the 5-minute time frame, which is going to take some patience. But so far, so good. And this is just how it's so. What happens is you cross the 2 hour, 200 moving average. Boom, look at the signal plays out yet again today, the second time in a row. We did this yesterday in front of you. And these trades should start one of them should flip green soon. We can get back to these entries up there. Would like it if those were the targets. And that's what I was supposed to do. I was supposed to pay for these trades in that scalp right now. I don't know how I missed that entry. It was a perfect retest too. It broke out, retested right there, and blew off the retest. That was, I was so close. It's okay. But man, that's beautiful. 4, 5 green candles in a row. Getting away from the 21. And what if it comes all the way back down? That's how it is on Fed Day. So I'm not going to kick myself for missing anything. Probably shouldn't even be trading. All right. So, but that was cool, right? That's an experiment in trading right there alone. Teaches you so much about trading right there. So the 1 hour is looking like it could reverse. Kind of in like this slanted cup and handle, kind of like you can't really tell. It might make it might kind of do one of these. All right, it might have to do one of those. But I'm more bullish or bearish. It looks like we're going to at least pump up to 93,000. Right? It's so likely. Look, it lines perfectly up with Bookmap's liquidity. See that? Like, it won't let me just put it, right there. Look at that. 93K, that's a 93K. 92, 923, but very likely we're going to go up there. Very likely, in my humble opinion. Now what? What is this? Why would it do all that? I don't need you. That's so weird. Microsoft. Can't stand you, Microsoft. Sometimes it just does what it wants. You know what I mean? Like, you'll move for a second and highlight something. It's probably a setting I could turn off, like the quick desktop setting or something. I don't know what the heck it is. Ain't nobody got time for that. So look, that's already in the green, technically. This thing's going to move. So now, if you're fiending, which I am, because I love this, I now know the 5 minutes above the 200 in the back of my mind. So that's a bullish sign, but the 21 has to catch up to price. I now know that the 21's behind on the 1 minute too, so I just flagged this out. Look for my next support and resistance areas that matter, which are right there, which is awesome. And you can see, and then I set up again for the same trade. Might V-shape recovery, might come. We don't know what's going to happen. It's not important to know. It's important to set up for structure. That's all that matters. You don't have to be on it all day long. I hope I was able to save your life with my strategy. I hope I was able to turn your losses around and change the way you looked at price action. I hope now you have a plan, you're consistent in at least you're disciplined in your approach. Doesn't mean you're going to win every time, but hopefully it's way better than it used to be. Hope the people coming to this channel actually get a beautiful, beautiful education and learn to turn that into life-changing gains, right? So, just long half. Oh yeah, you can almost always long Bitcoin. You're funny. You can't almost always. That's crazy. Who says stuff like that? Dude, I love you, bro, but you're funny, man, Peter Eccles. Saying, I get no alerts on me. Can't figure it out. You get no audio alerts on TradingView? Really? It's just simple. Just go to the alert section. I'll figure that out for you. Just ask Grok. Just say, Grok, how do I set alerts on TradingView? Dude, whenever you're struggling, man, just go to Grok. It's free on Twitter, on x.com. Or maybe I pay premium, but I'm pretty sure it is still like you can take, But that's everyone, we have the answer to every. I ask questions sometimes and my mind goes, dude, why am I asking somebody? I have AI right there. Like, it could tell me anything I need to know, and it will tell me the best way to do it. It will tell me where to source items, all the different places to call. It'll ask me if it wants to, write down the numbers. It'll source pricing. It's the best. 90 to 146. So look, you start kind of seeing the next move before it happens. You got to do this when we're getting the momentum and the movement. You can't do this whenever you want. Like Saturdays is the best time to do this. Thursday afternoons, Friday afternoons, Sunday night. You know, you might hit, but like you got, so like I've got a great strategy. It works, but you can't use it whenever you want. You know, and honestly, sometimes we like see how this might, it takes patience. Strategy, you can get very hurt using my strategy if you don't. Like right now, I could chase right now and then ruin the, I'm trading tight parameters here. And I might miss. If I miss, I'm just going to switch to the 5 minute and wait my turn. You see? There's been times where I get in right now and I just put a stop loss below the 200 and I do win. It plays out like right there. Had you done the same thing right there, yeah, you would have, you know. But there's also times it doesn't play out, so I just got to wait. So once you understand my strategy, you find out it takes immense patience to really use it properly. This might take 10 minutes to fill out. A lot of people can't handle that in the 1 minute. It takes, they're just like, you have to always be ready to walk away. It's kind of like negotiating for a car when you're getting into a trade. You have to be ready to walk away. You have to be ready to say, no, it's not doing exactly what I described, I projected. Like this starts to come down here and bounce. Like we're waiting, you know what I mean? This starts to go sideways, then we're talking. So like I'm not entering this trade unless this starts to go sideways. I got to wait for the moment, you know, and it takes extreme patience. I finally realized that too, and most people lose most of their trades because they don't have the patience to wait for them. They don't want to set them up. They don't want to be disciplined about anything in life. They just don't. Like, let's be honest. Like, I didn't have the discipline about 10, I'd say, let's say 12 years ago. I traded well in swing trades. I had a few good moments. But you put me in a day trade, you added any more than 5x leverage, and I was just, I collapsed. I collapsed like putty, man. I really did. I was like, my heart started racing, my ADD, whatever they wanted to tell me, you know, the labels kicked in that they told us we had. Actually, it's superior brain movement, but they want you to think you're deficient. But it actually means you're one of the smartest people in the world. They have no other way of talking about it. It's because you don't want to listen. You're unbrainwashable, so they gave you a label. Isn't that funny? Because you don't want to, he doesn't sit well and listen to our brainwash in school, so there's something wrong with him. Isn't that funny? He doesn't regurgitate our information back to us the way we want, like everyone else. Right? They picked me out like I was called an ADHD kid. They pumped me with the Ritalin when I was only 13 years old. They gave me Ritalin. Can you believe that? Pumping me with a prescription. And I abused it, and you know what I mean? And it messed me up. I can't believe that. It's funny, one of my kids got a thing to, I knew what to tell the doctor. Oh, I can't think, so I could get it. Isn't that crazy? Like, it's just nuts. They were handing it out to kids like it was cupcakes, man. Bitcoin absolutely ripping, doing damage. Look at this. Crossing the 200 and just ripping. Ripley, believe it or not. You gotta love it. Shorts getting absolutely demolished. And again, I would never short when you cross the 200. Look, that wasn't, you could see the complex inverted head and shoulder forming. We saw it before it happened. We saw the measured move before this happened. The measured move was here. It was from here to there. I really wish I had executed the trade just to solidify, take the loss back that you saw earlier and solidify the win, but it's okay. I gotta be patient. I'm going to trade the right moment, the perfect entry. I'm getting really, really good at my discipline here. If anything, I'm showing you how to be disciplined when the trade keeps going because it's going to fight. Right now, you're fighting not to get in. You have to remember the 5 minutes getting further and further away from the 21. Okay. Look, one trade's back into the green. So there we go. 93,000 is so likely, and we talked about it, and you can see red now. Now when it's get covered in yellow, it's like more likely. I don't know why, but it just becomes like the target now. This is Bookmap telling us where liquidity lies, telling us where we're likely, who's getting liquidated, where the stop loss. These are stop losses and liquidations. All the way up to 94.2. Of course, that 94.2, right? Right there. I heard Dextrogen for a while on my abilities to StarCraft skyrocketed. Quit the drug out for 1 week. Tell withdrawal for a day. Yeah, I remember Dextrogen. Yep. We're only for studying. I felt so strange. Even you're funny. Same with me since I was 8. Yeah, I eventually realized I always knew I didn't want to be on pharmaceutical drugs, man. I just knew it. I don't know why, but I had a soul, man. God spoke to me since I was young. So I used it to clean up my act. 10th grade and 11th grade, I got into college. And then I guess I told my mom, like, I'm not going to take this when I go to college. You know what I mean? Like, I'm mature. I'm going to figure out my way. Like, I don't want to take a drug. And we threw that prescription in the trash and I moved on with my life. smartly. I knew it was messing with my heart. I knew it made me feel uncomfortable at times. And I was in tune with who I was as a person, even at a young age. I always had this strong intuition not to do what everyone was telling me. And yeah. So, yeah, maybe a couple years, and then it was no mas, And I'm not into it. My body doesn't do well. I'm a natural guy. I don't do well with almost anything. Even alcohol throws me off pretty bad. So I stay away from alcohol. It just doesn't fit well with my system. Gives me stomach aches, pains, bad bowel movements. I don't do it. So now we're watching this. This could be the next possible entry here for Bitcoin. It's a little tight though, and I may have missed my moment. But nice pump. Shout out to anyone that may have taken advantage of the system and made some gains. Anyone make gains here? Put a 333. Tell us your gains that you made with the knowledge here on the channel. Shout out to the 1,800 people here on the stream. One of the biggest live streams of trading in the world. We got people from all around the world, from Malaysia to Kentucky to Kalamazoo. I'm telling you, we got it all here on the show. Now, if you're looking for the next move, you're watching the 15-minute. The 15-minute has to catch up to the 21 now. See, this is the game. See, people can't handle this, all these different time frames at once. It confuses them. But once you master this inside of your subconscious mind, you're going to have a handle over things that most people just can't handle. So again, this is a skill that takes time. What I'm showing you is an actual skill that takes time. I'm just drawing lines and using moving averages, but anybody could do that. It's the conceptualization of what's happening and working it into your system. It's having a plan, a consistent discipline that makes sense. That's the key to trading. The trade isn't made when you open the trade. The trade is made years and years of back testing. That's when the trade is made. Okay? You put your life on the line here for these trades, and and literally I dedicate. And again, I'm sure you could skip away with some good tech and some AI, but you'll never have the knowledge the way I see it, and you'll probably never be able to really call it. You'll be relying on a system the whole time, like a captain that uses autopilot. What happens when that real rogue wave comes? What happens when there's that real time to make a pivot? There might be some human knowledge that's needed. There's always that, and I'd rather be that guy in command. I'd rather be the captain of my destiny. And that's why I believe jumping on into my Discord, going to cryptolifer.com and going to the most affordable premium Discord in the game is probably going to hook you up. $99 a month is like, it'll blow your mind. It'll blow your mind. So 92,250, nice little pump. Again, that's why you do not chase. See, that could be head and shouldery now. The key is now to wait the smart move now, you see, and look how I waited. The smart move now is to don't even trade until after the Fed meeting. I'm telling you, like tonight at 8 p.m., the dust will settle. Usually it's pretty tight even tomorrow is usually pretty whack because so much liquidity gets traded today, it dries up Thursday and Friday pretty bad. But we'll see. Anything can happen today. That's what everyone gets excited because they know there's just that inkling of you never know. It's kind of like Christmas, but it's also like it's more like a stocking. You might get all the cool little trinkets, but you also might get some coal. Nobody knows for sure what we're getting. We all have our speculations. Let's move on now. I've done everything I can for Bitcoin. You see my trades. We're kind of sitting. It's been, 98.18 to 92.2. Okay. Let's take a look at the CME gap and all that. I mean, the CME watch tool. I think there is a CME gap too as well. So now 89%, there's going to be a cut. It's not 90, it's not, but usually it's between 89 and 97. But usually it is a 97. Does that mean there's no cut? 10% chance? I feel like they're going to cut the rates no matter what. What if they don't? We'll lose the 2-hour 200 and we'll dump. Pretty simple. And you'll be able to find that bear flag on the 5 or the 15-minute. So you watch your 2-hour, you'll see it lose the 200 moving average. I guess this is when you get your visual, right? So go to the 2-hour time frame. Actually, no, we'll go to the 1 hour. Yeah, the 15. Yeah, the 15. So the 15-minute will lose the 200 moving average, and then you'll make a bear flag on the 5. And that's when you know to short. And likely, but the short might only make it all the way down here to like 89.8. And if it drops again, you'll go to 87.6, and then we'll go from there. All right? So I'm not really stressed about what's going to happen today. And right now, we have some upward momentum. See if we can make a flag on the 5-minute time frame. Bring this 21 in. Get tight with the 200. And let me just get rid of everything else and really focus in here. Otherwise, this might just come right back down. This might make Exactly what we just made the other way, which is crazy, right? Look, it got like, almost funny. That's a shoulder, head, shoulder, but it got defined. Look, this could be a shoulder, a head, and we might make a complex head and shoulder down now. Low, lower, high, lower, low, lower, high, right? Just so. Watch out. Fed day will catch you. Have a plan in place and just execute your plans. That's the best way to stay and have a proper risk management. Seriously. There's going to be days where it's going to be way easier to trade, a lot of liquidity. It's going to be days when it's harder. I don't overtrade on the tougher liquidity days, and I put more money in days when the volume's hard. So, look, yesterday we took 5 Gs. We don't always do that. It's not always perfect, right? It's an up and down game. But some days, like I told everyone, some days I make nothing. Some days I lose 200, 300, 500. Some days I make 5 racks. Some day, and then there's days straight where I make 1,000 a day straight. It all depends. The key is to, when you do win, to stack it away. Like you make 5 racks, you put $2,000 away. For me, I'm not a financial advisor, but I buy $1,000 worth of Bitcoin of the $5,000. I maybe stash like $1,500 in Tether, and then I play back with the $3,000. You know what I mean? It's just like always having a plan, always taking a little bit off the table whenever I'm taking a little bit off the table. I just think that's the proper, because if you do that over time, you create a habit. I've learned we are the summation of our habits. So if we do something, if we keep, like for instance, I like to sell early, but that means I take profits. Like yesterday, remember I had to sit there for the rest of the show while price action kept pumping. Now price action is lower than it was when I sold yesterday. If you remember, I sold at 93.16. It's now at 92.2. I can get back into that trade now with more capital than I had before at a lower price. You could say, fine, you had a better entry at 89.9 and all that, but we could be greedy and hold on to all that. No point, no need. The key is to stay positive. Use positive thoughts. One positive thought is stronger than 1,000 negative thoughts. Keep repeating that to yourself every time you trade. One positive thought is stronger than 1,000 negative thoughts. Repeat that every time you trade. And keep that with you. Anytime you have a negative thought, reverse it into a positive thought. Tell yourself, there's no need for that. I can turn this around. I'm not going to think like that. I'm not going to let that cloud my vision. That thought's a frequency. That frequency creates an attraction. That attraction pulls something into your life. Our thoughts are ripples in the water of time and space. Make sure you're using your thoughts correctly to grow. Jim Rohn talks about it all the time. He says, our mind is soil. Our subconscious mind is the soil. It will grow weeds or it'll grow beautiful flowers, but you must tend to your garden, as he says. I'm doing my best, but you must tend to your garden. I will tell you 2 things. And he's like, the pain of discipline far outweighs the pain of regret. I go live every single day. We go live. You come to the live stream every day. All of us together create this consistency. And we have an amazing community now. We have something, if we go around to big events together and there's 50, 60 of us, people want to be a part of that. People see that. Well, I had a big thing in Vegas and a lot of people showed up. They heard about it and they wanted to hang out. They wanted to see what it was all about. They wanted to be a part of the lifers, man. You know what I mean? Because we're consistent. Who doesn't want to hang out with consistency? Everybody does. Everybody loves consistency. So you don't even have to have people to love you. They just can love your consistency. It's sad. You kind of lose a bit of the personality there, but it's really about being there, right? Who doesn't want a consistent friend? You want the person that shows up every time for you. That's who you want to pick up at the airport. That's who you want to be friends with, isn't that? That's who you want to create a relationship with, someone that's consistent. No one wants to be friends with someone that doesn't show up, right? How many times you had a friend and didn't show up? Eventually, I can't be friends with this person anymore. I showed up every time. They never showed up for me. I'm not doing this anymore, right? We've all been there. Some of us have stayed in those relationships far too long. And because we don't have confidence in ourselves. So lack of confidence lets people take advantage of you and lets you waste time. When you build confidence in yourself, you start using your time valuably, because when you're confident, your time is not to be wasted. So once you build confidence, you don't waste your time with people that waste your time. You actually start benefiting from all your relationships because the people you bring in only bring in positive energy and high frequency. They benefit your life in some way, shape, or form. You benefit them in some way, shape, or form. It keeps you sharp when you're around sharp people because you can't go low when you say your friend's in shape all the time and you go to the beach together. And then you gain a lot of weight and you go to the beach let's say you go to the beach a couple times a week, you live in Florida, or you do some working out and your friend stays in shape and you just get a little fatter and a little fatter every couple of weeks. After 4 to 5 weeks, your friend's going to look at you and say, hey, dude, what happened? We used to look great together. You don't look so good anymore. And you know, if you had 3 friends like that, I believe it would be easier to stay in shape, no? We are the summation of the people we hang out with. If you have no one to hang out with, come to my live stream. I distanced myself from everyone and I started listening to Jim Rohn. I didn't have many people to hang out with. They weren't thinking the way I was thinking. They weren't disciplined. I couldn't find them in my life. So I found them online. Until I rose my frequency to attract the right people into my life, right? So I found high frequency people online to teach me how to live high frequency, how to raise my standards, and then I was able to attract those type of people into my life. My life has changed now. You know what I mean? The people I know, not to be rude, are all, you know, very, very successful people. The top 5 people in my phone or that I call and talk to, extremely successful in their field. Whether it's real estate, sales, you know, other parts of finance that I'm not involved in, you name it. And they're exceptional people that are interesting to talk to and have awesome ideas and options. When your friends are successful, you have more options. So when you build yourself up to a higher value, you produce relationships of higher value. Therefore, you bring in people of higher value into your life. Therefore, your network becomes your net worth, because that's what people are saying when they're saying that. That's what they're really saying. Okay, I'm just breaking it down. I mean, together we're here, right? As we're talking, we're just Bitcoin somewhat sideways, 92.3, still strong above 92K. We got above this resistance. We double bottomed. Look at the double bottom. They didn't raid the liquidity at the bottom. Maybe they will eventually. They might come down and raid it here at one point. We don't know. But I just don't want you to think every double bottom gets raided, because every time you think, oh, they're going to raid the double bottom. No. The 68% of the time, it's going to hit the measured move. You must assume that it's going to hit the measured move every time. Stop playing that game with the double bottom, because you're not going to be able to play it right when it's time. You got to set up every time the right way to get the right results. You can't set up the wrong way twice and the right way once and then have the results you're looking for. Okay? You got to stay consistent when you trade. I trade the 200 and the 21 over and over again till it's boring, till it hurts, till it pains my eyes to look at. But it's the same. And some days, yes, you say, isn't that boring, Sam? Isn't discipline boring? Isn't going live every single day for the same day for thousands of days, isn't that boring? Sometimes it can be. Success is not supposed to be always amazing. I have to be honest with you. There are times when success hurts. There are times when discipline has to kick in. And there are times when it's not all fun and joy. But you know what? I'd rather be disciplined and enjoy the fruits of my labor than be someone that have to feel the pain of regret and not do what I'm supposed to do. So I don't care if I'm sick. Doesn't matter if you're sick. Doesn't matter if you're tired. Doesn't matter what you're going through. You got to show up for whatever your dreams you've placed. And if you don't have dreams, you got to find some, man. You got to make a goal some way, somehow to change the way you're living, or maybe you're happy with your living, but you just want to add to it. Say you live in a house right now, but you don't have a lot of land. Wouldn't you want to have some land for some goats and some horses for your kids? You know, you don't want to have, maybe you're not into like, you know, big stuff like that, but you just want to change the way you're living. Well, that's a great goal. What if you want to build one of those earth houses that, show into the sun? They use the water perfectly. I love those things. They're called earth ships. You know what an earth ship is, right? Who here knows what an earth ship is? Anyone? I was into all this stuff for years. You make it southwest to the sun. You open up, all right? And you can research this stuff and have some fun with it. But an earth ship is a home that's like built into the back of a mountain or a hill. You dig out the way it's built. Okay? So this is an earth ship. Okay? This is what an earth ship looks like. All right? These are versions of earth ships. And what they do is they use gray water in the toilets. They get recycled, and there's just also, and then you also have air conditioning through the back vents. You build it with tires and broken bottles. The bottom of bottles you build walls with. You build the back with tires and dirt. Like these are all old tires, and then you make them, so they build the homes with old tires. Beautiful glass in the front. A long home with one space, and it air conditioning through the earth. Okay? These are the most efficient homes ever built. They're so beautiful. Research earth ships. There's a whole community of them somewhere. I think Mike Reynolds is the beginner of all this, if I'm correct. Is that his name? Michael Reynolds in the 1970s. The concept emerged from concepts about environmental degradation, waste accumulation. So you use things they're going to throw out anyway. And then you reuse a lot of the sun and the water. All right. Build an Earthship. You know what I'm saying? Like, that could be the greatest goal for your trading career. Hey, I want to make enough money to build an Earthship. I mean, that's like, what a healthy goal. So for me, that's awesome. So set some goals, man. That's the first thing you got to do. Second, begin to build on those goals. Ask yourself, how can I actionably change my life each day? What's the small things I can do that build up to the bigger goal? You gotta basically back engineer the goal. Write down the 10 things that you need to do immediately, and then do one of them. At the end of the week, ask yourself what you did to work on your goal. See how much time you put in. See what and if you gotta really be honest with yourself and self-assess. If you want to trade, if you're losing your trades, you're struggling as a trader, let's go over a checklist. Do you use a stop loss regularly? If the answer to that question is no, then that's why you're losing a lot of money, period. Like, I'm sorry. You say, but they hunt stop losses. No. If you're convinced that stop losses don't work, then I don't know if we can ever help you. And the sad thing is, I think like 90% of people think that you just get hunted every time you put out a stop. Like today, I got hunted, so they think that's what happens every time. It doesn't happen. Many of my trades, even a week, even in a month, do not hit the stop loss. That $5,000 trade did not hit the stop. Like, it did not hit the stop loss. So what we do is we do this. I do the same thing over and over again. Fed day's tight. Let's be honest. It's not going to be a walk in the park today. We all already knew that. All right. Doesn't mean we can't set up. I do the same thing I do every day. I'm still going to set up from my way of trading. I don't know what it's going to do, but I'll still set up. And look, a double bottom did play out. I love how things did what they were supposed to do. With Fed day around the horizon, I just want to look at the total market cap in all of cryptocurrency. Holding that 3-day 200 moving average. Holding the 15-minute 200, but not amazing. Same scenario here. It's kind of the same story. Like, we break out and pump to the 21. We get above this point of control. We make a bear flag and we dump back down to 2.31. The odds are we're going to break down. But as long as we can hang above this 200 on the 3-day, we have ourselves a chance at reversing. So right now, this is a very interesting time. End of the year. I think you have 70 to 80% of people are bearish. Let's take a look at what people are saying here. I don't actually know. Let's look at the live chat. We're going to look at the super chats too. Sorry, I didn't take a look, I like Kool-Aid organic. Yeah. How is it for the people that people can't afford a whole one? Because you don't even need a whole one anymore. And the bigger it gets, the more you don't need a whole one. You know what I'm saying? Super chats, SPB stock. Not SpongeBob SquarePants or something. Funny. It was for the people, now it's for Wall Street. Yeah. Hey, live for my best buddy, Holden Hud expansion winning last week. He was a huge fan. Holden, I love you, man. Holden Tudex, we love you, man. Man, so sorry to hear that, brother. Mitchell loves you, Holden. I love you too, bro. I know you probably spoke well about me to everyone you met. Man, we lost a lifer, bro. Thank you for telling me. I'm so sorry to hear that, brother. Moment of silence for Holden, man. Holden, we love you, brother. And may you look down upon us and keep this group whole, bro. Amen. Someone says the 5-minute MACD looks scary. It's just the 5-minute, man. Don't worry. It's not too crazy. Yeah. Thanks for all this knowledge, Sammy. Cup and handy. God bless you, man. Well, we had a good time today, right? I mean, the stream was on point. I love when the viewership is into the 1800s and we're rocking and rolling. People are hitting that like button. Hit that like button, please, if you like what you're seeing. I've watched a show that I really love, but I just forgot to hit the like button once. It's happened to me. So it's a human error that happens many times. We're at 600, but I bet we can get to 1,000. I don't see why we can't. Let's take a look at these beautiful super chats. We have no dramas made. For $2.99, he says, send it, lifer. God bless, brother. Jesus loves you. Thank you so much. That's a great super chat, man. Thank you for using your $3 to spread love. Kurt Shore, super. Will it ever go up again? Thank you, Kurt. Honestly, Elio, right? Yeah. We'll take a look at that. Honest question. How can the weekly be in a downtrend when we never broke below April lows? Technically uptrend still. That's what I said. You know what I mean? Well, actually, to me, the daily. Yeah. I agree with you somewhat, Infinite Growth, and I kind of did mention that, I believe, right? I did hit on that. Maybe you probably put that super chat in like right as I was talking, but I believe we kind of like both. Yeah, I hit this, right? Everyone can. I hit this super chat because I covered the fact that there is that chance we're in that uptrend, and that's why I'm showing you hidden bullets divergence on the monthly. Saying, can you people stock SBP? Okay, so we have Super and SBB. Thank you so much, Plague Dogs. Thank you, Infinite Growth, Kurt Shore, and No Dramas Mate for the super chats. Send them in too. We still doing it here. We'll hook you up. Show is still rocking and rolling. We got time. Man, today feels like one of the best shows we've ever had. Thank you, dear Lord, for this amazing experience to run a YouTube channel. Thank you for YouTube, Google, and all the awesome opportunities presented. Thank you for the 100,000 plaque that we received this year. Unbelievable. 2025 was a year of accomplishments. Dubai, Singapore, around the world. Shout out to Jamie. Shout out to my whole team. Shout out to my wife, Sean, the editors. Lakochi, I love you, brother. And every single one of you, all my moderators, everyone that made this year amazing as we come through for the home plate here. And 21 more days, and I can say I always get very freaked out at the end of the year. I shouldn't say that. I feel great, actually. I am empowered by God, but I'm always like, all right, 21 more days. And I can say I did 2025 without a day off, right? Because every year is a year. So I remember just starting 2025. I remember just starting off. I'm like, all right, what's this year going to bring? What's going to happen? We had just hit 100K last year, right? In December for Bitcoin. That's how the year started. McLaughlin Taylor says, Bitcoin, dead cat bounce, alts to rip. Bitcoin dominance down, right? So, yeah, this is it. Like, we got to break out. So the 3-day chart has 9 days from now. We're sitting pretty, headed up for this V shape, ready to change the world, or we're sideways and still with the possibility of rolling over. 6 to 9 days, we're going to have a really clear picture of the market, in my humble opinion. And so I'm excited for that too as well. As long as we show up every day, there's going to be, a good way to rock on. These trades still sitting, look sideways basically most of the day. Well, let's see now. Oh, I like this. And bang. And so now I'm going to look for the same exact scenario here. 5 minute above the 21. Above the 200, touching the 21. But the 5 minute now. See, this takes time. But thank you guys for entertaining me. So I don't, if I was alone, maybe but that's why you should have other things to do too. Read a book. Sometimes build a puzzle. I don't know what it is, but have something on the side while you're trading. See, I've been up since 7 in the morning doing analysis, right? It's now 11:50. Like, soon it will be 5 hours I've been working, grinding. I've been in the charts. I took like a 20-minute break to drop my daughter off at school for a second. You know what I mean? It was very fast. The school is very close. So, boom. So, look at this, like 93,471. I mean, that would be a beautiful move. The 21 would have to come in. I got to see again. I don't get it until I see my discipline. It's kind of like a boxer. Like if you have a one-hit move and you just wait for it and wait for it and wait. When you finally see it, you take it. You kind of almost determine that you're going to hit. And, I think, who does that a lot? O'Malley does that. He'll roll you for a couple rounds, but he's waiting on one sniper chin hit. He hits you in that chin one time in the right spot. You're done. You're cooked, man. It doesn't matter who you are. There's a pot and a place in all of our chins that will stun us. There's also a bone in the back of the ear that if you hit it very hard with your palm, you could stun somebody out of their mind. You know who taught me that? I used to work for Kevin James in Long Island, all right? Out in, near Bethpage there, there's like a Gold Coast Studios. Little mini Hollywood in Long Island, little studio, studio there. Kevin James lives in Long Island. He didn't want his kids in L.A. He said corrupted technically, so he wanted his kids home in Long Island, so he had them set up a studio there. And I worked for him. Well, he tried to make that comeback with Kevin Can Wait, the same guy that was, the King of Queens for all those years, right, with Leah Remini. So, make a long story even longer, I used to sit and have lunch. Boss Rutan was one of the guys on the show, and I would eat lunch with Boss probably 5 or 6 times. Not a lot, but, 5 or 6 times in a month or two. We got to know him. He's a nice guy. And one day I asked him, what is the one thing you could teach me? Like, I was like, I know everyone asks you stuff. I was like, I don't want to spend a lot of time. I was like, but what's the one thing you could teach me? Like the last resort thing that could say. And he goes, man, I'll tell you right now. He goes, get that punching stuff out of your mind. He's like, the fist is the weakest bones in the body. He's like, you're really in a jam. He's like, you try to use the person's momentum. if they swing at you to back away. And he's like, and if you can get your palm, he goes, take your palm and just hit the back of your ear just a slightly. He said, like, I just did it slightly, and I feel I shouldn't have hit it myself that hard. But even if you just hit it just with like a little force, see this bone that sticks out? Again, don't do this unless you really have to. I don't, you know what I mean? This is only for extreme self-defense purposes. But you do that with this, you know what I mean? You feel what it did to you right now. That will stun someone out of their mind. And that's the one thing he taught me. And again, I'm not saying I'm like a martial art expert here. You guys are probably laughing at me. But I'm just telling you, you know, there's a few little tricks to the trade every once in a while that could get you out of a jam, right? Same with trading. You just got to know. Just got to know. How do we start talking about this? Who knows? It's a battle royale out here. That's why. Every single day, you know. We're fighting the makers. So look, I mean, let's see what happens here. And, you know, we were expecting this sideways price action. 91.8 to 92.2 is great. I'll take it. And there was actually still even a little bit of a scalp to have there. So I would be sideways. I wouldn't go crazy. Tonight, we'll see the dust settle. Everything will kind of collect. And let's also kind of take a look at what's happening tomorrow, just so we're ready. So Thursday, so we have Fens rate today at 2 p.m. I'll be live at about 2:15. I usually jump in at 2:15 because otherwise we have to sit there for an unusual 30 minutes. Unemployment claims, like, and price will usually go sideways until then. So it's kind of just like I sit there like, well. 8:30, unemployment claims tomorrow morning. That's going to move the market, right? And with low volume after all the craziness, like I wouldn't, that might be a time to just kind of watch what happens and then move later on. And then nothing coming up on Friday, right? CPI for our different country. FOMC, Paulson speaks, but nobody really cares. That usually doesn't do much, right? Goolsby, people don't even care who that, So we'll see what happens. We have a new Fed chair coming. We have rate cut possibly today. Again, you never know what can happen. There's a chance, but right now it's very likely we get the rate cut. Very, very likely. So, and it will be the last cut of the year, December 10th. Right? We did get the 3 cuts, again. Everyone said, but it didn't do nothing. And I wouldn't be going too crazy today. I have very small positions. Let's take a look at SBB, Spectrum Brands Holdings, my man, on the New York Stock Exchange. First thing I always look at is the weekly on any chart. Okay, so what I see is, how long has this thing been out? Let's take a look. So the chart starts in about 1968. So it's been around for a long time. Seemed like it moved in the 80s. Wow. And what, 1988, 81? Wow. So this thing was $1,400 a share at one point in its life? It might have diluted too. Y'all, I see dilution, which means they cut the share price and all this. Usually what happens when you see a large chart like that. So we can kind of start here, and it's been wavy. I don't know. I personally don't like the profile of this chart. Okay. Yeah, just, you know what I mean? The length of it, the time, and it's just now it's at the bottom of its barrel after years, and it's choppy. It likes to seem to bounce off this range from 40 back to 100, though. It's done it from here. It's done it about 3 times as it gets smaller and smaller. I don't know if did they go to Bitcoin mining is some news. So here's the deal. It's at the bottom of its area. It could be attempting to take a bounce here. Move to the 5-day. Same scenario. 3-day, similar, the daily. So here you go. I mean, you got a stochastics move. So here's the deal. Like, could be a bit of, I don't like this. I don't like the profile of this stock. It doesn't look like something, but it has some Adam and Eve vibes. It's technically an Adam and Eve. It's above a high volume node. There's a gap there back to 70. Wow, it's about to get back above the 200 on the 8-hour, the 22. It looks good. I mean, it looks like Bitcoin right now. So I don't know. Is it Bitcoin mining? Does it have something to do with Bitcoin mining? Because it's just like the 2-hour, Bitcoin's just above the 200 moving average. It looks like a scalp. I mean, that's my model. It's touching the 21 above the 200. That looks like, and it's above a point of control. I mean, it tells you put a stop below 55 and aim for 70. That's going to hit. I'd actually like to put an alert on that and see what happens to that, because that's interesting to me. So I don't love the profile on the bigger time frames, but my system says it's going to move. My system says there's about a 70 to 80% chance this does play out to 70. I have no idea what it is. I don't think I'll even care to research, but it tells me there's some movement there based on the technical analysis. Let's take a look at Super. Is it ever going to come back again? Somebody said. Let's take a look at Super. Super rare, right? Number one, it's not. I don't see it spot on Mexi, which usually tells me it's got KCAX. It's on weeks. I mean, yeah. Look, number one, this was a speculative project that came out. Wasn't Elio Trades? I don't know. It was he super. I'm pretty sure Super Rare was. I could be wrong though. Because I don't want to like say things that are, you know what I mean. But I'm pretty sure. Anyway, he's a gaming guy. I watched his channel on and off for years. Extremely speculative over time. Has that like expert vibe, but then when you really see what happens, like he like longs the ball, like he is whatever. God bless him, man. But I just saw a lot of people that don't use TA like thoroughly disciplined. TA is something you have to do every single day to get good at. If you're not doing TA every single day for years, it's really hard to call the markets. It's really hard to call the market already, but dang well, I'm pretty dang good at it because I use TA every day. And I'm still going to make mistakes, and I'm never going to say I'm 100% because that's impossible. But what I have seen, so like this coin is attached to speculation on such a massive scale, gaming, idea-wise, and it takes a whole industry to really come back, right? This is not just Super. Again, it's Elio will work his butt off. I'll tell you that. Hard-working guy. That's what I do know about him. And again, correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't this have something to do with Elio? Am I wrong? Please tell me if I'm wrong, because I want to stop right now if I am. Anyone here correct me if I'm wrong? Is Super Rare, right? Someone says, yes, it is. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. You're awesome for saying that. Yeah, I know my stuff, man. What I do know about Elio, I don't know him personally. I think we almost met a couple times at different events. Like I met someone, and like 20 minutes later, I saw them talking together, and I was like, I was just breezed this path. But he works hard. He believes in the space with all his might. Like he's a true crypto lifer. I give him that. But some people just, there's a difference between being, and he's doing like code, working behind the scenes, connecting people. I'm doing technical analysis all day in a screen. You know what I mean? Where, and I'm doing more of like, I'm connecting the industry, going around the world. He's doing the same thing in a different, and we're just both, everyone's doing something different in cryptocurrency. He's a builder though, so I don't see him giving up on stuff. To me, it's like I would have to see a pump, retrace. Like it's just gonna take its time. So either it dumps all the way back to complete zero. I feel like this is the lowest it can go. It's so crazy. These projects are back where they were back in November of 2023. They round tripped. I mean, but again, had you got in like we did, we got into a lot of these coins here. It was 12 cents and it went to $1.48. Like, what did you want? That wasn't a bull run? Everyone says we didn't have a bull run. What do you mean? This thing was $2. We started finding it and talking about it here and here. And all right, so I mean, for me, 4 to 5 cents, 5 cents to $2 is 40x. I think people just didn't realize that was the bull run for altcoins. Like it ended in 2024. It was just faster. It was like, for whatever reason, it just. But I have to be honest. We technically had a bull run. It just wasn't where people wanted it to be. Elio is Superverse. I see someone said Superverse. Yeah, you're right. Superverse on Coinbase. See, I was wrong. I mean, they both look identical. Isn't that funny? They're in the same spot. Altcoins are just beat. They're beat up. Either you believe in altcoin season or you don't. I've believed in them so many times. I'm not buying in more. I have what I've already bought. But I'm done kind of like bending the knee to more alts. Hello, my beautiful. I just got a hug from a baby. Come here. A little baby just came and hugged me, man. Like, this is crazy. And how did you know the show was over? It's 12:03. Can you say crypto lifer? Crypto lifer. Say lifer. I'm sorry. Why are you sorry? She's so beautiful and special.
No, say hi.
Say hi. Say hi and wave.
Hi.
Oh.
Say bye-bye.
Say bye-bye.
Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Say bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, my God. That was so cute, huh? Oh, she grabbed her legs on me. Try to grab me like a koala bear. Loves her daddy. All right, everybody. I love you. I appreciate you. It is 12:03. The music is ended. Everything is ending. It's over. No. But the show is ending, right? I mean, we had an amazing show. And keep having babies out there. Keep having babies out there, please. Don't stop having babies. Okay? I'll be back in just a couple hours for FOMC. Assume we're going to dump. But as long as, again, bigger time frames don't look amazing. Looks like we're getting some type of dead cat bounce. At the end of the day, let's kind of rework what we're talking about. I'll delete everything again. This is what we're looking for. We're looking for a Fed cut. We're looking for people to front run the money. And we're looking at him to talk dovish or whatever, blah, blah, blah. It really doesn't matter what he says this time because he's not going to be the Fed chair. You see what I mean? But we'll see. He still has some sway over his words. Still hit algorithm. See, people have bots listening to what he says, and there's bots like tree. It's almost worse. Like bots might actually do the wrong thing sometimes. So look for this inverted head and shoulder to break us out. I'm generally looking for a pump back up here. Nothing crazy to 94.3, and then we'll see what happens. But I could be completely wrong, and we might just completely dump. But because we're oversold and pointing out, because we have some MACD turning. RSI, it all looks like we'll get some type of bounce here back on the 1 hour time frame, and we're above the 200 moving average. So I remain bullish in the interim. I'll come back in the next few hours to kind of break up what we're seeing. If you want to actually trade actionable ideas, I would be looking for this idea here on the 5-minute time frame. It's better I just actually go to, when this loads right here, I'm just watching this on the 5-minute. Same idea. You're looking for it to bounce, create some type of ascending triangle, but that could take as long as it takes to get the Fed meeting on. So just, hold your horses, sit tight. I would not force trades. As you can see, I have some trades open, but they're very small. Everybody, I love you. I appreciate you. And I thank you so much for being here. May God bless every single one of you for being amazing and awesome. Jumping on into the live stream and kicking it with the lifer. I love you, I appreciate you, and I care about your frequency and want to keep you on a high level. Keep pushing, keep believing in yourself, don't stop. Remember, you can, you will, you are the best. You have this. Stay around positive people that believe in you. Remember, only you really truly know your true potential, and that's between you and God, and that means you can soar higher than anyone knows you can soar. Even me, man, I don't know. Show us who you are, because there's someone out there, there's someone inside of you that's going to change the world. And remember, the secret to success, it's getting started. You're not going to be great to start, but you got to start to be great. I love you. I'll see you not too long from now. It's going to be it's going to feel like 5 minutes. I'll be back. I'll be back.